Today I'm going to help you master every role in less than 1 hour on Fracture. You guys seem to love the Ascent version, and I can make these videos like they're nothing. Now if you don't know me, I coach a heck ton of players over on YouTube, on Ko-Fi. I've been teaching for 3 years, so I've already played this map and taught this map to players. My main for this map is Raze. I'll also be teaching you Breach, Brim, and Deadlock. 4 of the craziest agents on these maps. I will show you exactly what to do on both attack and defense for every single agent. This is going to be jam-packed. So get your snackies, get your notes, and enjoy the heckin' video. Alright, first come first serve is going to be Raze. I love Raze. So I'm going to show you what I love to do on Raze for defense. I always come here. I listen for noise before I throw any sort of utility. Sometimes I ask for someone like Deadlock, Smile, or Fade, or yeah, I don't know, someone else, and combine my NATO 13. But we always wait for noise here. It's because you want them to come into the open here, and you also want them to be pushed up a little. You know, if you insta throw the nade, the barrier is like back here, the timing doesn't work, you just run out. So yeah, you want to wait for a little timing here, just a little one. I usually wait here. If nothing happens, I scale up. My pocket play here at all times is that I can always satchel out like this and get away very quickly. This also occurs to where if they do come here and I throw the nade and I want to like back up or just take a fight, sometimes I take one here and then I back up and satchel. Remember to use these satchels as get out of the way jail. Free cards, they're actually pretty dang good for that. But if nothing happens here, you know, I wait here with the nade and I grab the orb. Okay, so A main's kind of like my main spot. I grab this orb. I usually don't flank with Raze. I kind of like, I'll show you what I do when I rotate here. I kind of like, you know, playing my satchels towards B. So when I'm on the rotate, I like to come through here. And then I like to, if I have my nade, chuck it when they're coming out here. Or chuck it on the plant here. There's like a lineup here. If you do a run throw there, I think it lands perfectly back there. I actually just made that up, but it kind of worked. So I'll show it again and pretend I just invented this. Kind of just like at the top there, run throw. Okay. Or you can just do a regular throw and it'll land behind the box. Wow, that was actually beautiful. I just invented the best lineup in the game. But I usually just chuck this nade, and then while they're like running away from me, I satchel up here. And I can get these players or these players. It's pretty effective. I like doing it. You can combine this with a boombot here if you really want to. Boombot will go up there. Actually, we don't combine it with a boombot there. So there's some nice little like pathings here. You could even like boombot through here, for example, and like satchel back like this and get some people arcade. I'm just kind of throwing stuff at you because a lot of Raze is experimenting, going beyond just what I tell you as well. You can't just follow what I do and do good because there's always a little adaptation we have to make. For playing dish, I really don't like playing dish. You know, maybe if I'm on jet, I'll play here. Or if I have like intel ability, I'll play here. But on Raze, you don't really play here. You can boombot this, but if I'm on the enemy team, I just stand here, let the boombot pass me, and then swing while you're grabbing orb. So you can get smushed pretty hard by that. So I don't really recommend that. I don't really recommend here. Kind of like playing down here and playing this angle here. And when they come out after this door, like if they come through door, so like we start here and we kind of wrap around here. Usually your teammates should be playing dish. Or if they're playing dish, you can just hide from them like here. This is what I like to do. And then you can play this. You can kind of live here, wait till it rotates. And then you have like nades still here if you didn't use it. Wow, I'm actually just like inventing every lineup known to man. You can do boombot here. And then like nade off this sidewall. Wow, that one's even better. God, like who invented this? I'm the Raze connoisseur. Holy crap. Anyways, you can also boombot through here. You can wait for timing and like noise if they're coming through door. But you can kind of like play around a lot here. And if you keep sands control for the retake, it's actually pretty nice. Because then you can go through door on the retake. Or you can play off this util we talked about here. If you go through door, I mean, I'll show you what that looks like on attack. And this is basically A. So let's go over to B. B, I don't really start off here. But if I do, I don't take this early peek on A. My main thing is either go up here, like pre-round, satchel up here, and I hold this angle. The arcade players kind of hide from here, so my team watches me and I watch here. Or, you know, I could go back here, but really I watch arcade. The other thing I do is at the start of the round, or pre-round I mean, the barriers drop and I grab this rope and I go down here. I really like this angle. This is an angle I only teach my students. Okay, no one leaked this. No one leaked this angle. I'm being serious. This one's broken. You play back here, the arcade player walks up on you 9 out of 10 times. And you get them for free. And if you're Raze, you can ult, you can boombot, you can nade, but you really just get one here, and that's what you really want. You can throw Sasha over the next guy. But the first one is always guaranteed. Okay, the second one, I don't know about that as much. First one always guaranteed. Really nice jump spot. Would be really nice if you had ult. Sometimes I even just fought here and just saw if they're there, and if no one peeks for a sec, I would go through here and then I would do like a dish wrap. But this is more of a fractured lane, is you want to kind of push these extremities. If you don't know, like this side and this side are extremities, and this is like A main, B main, so they're not extremities. A main, B main, never extremities. Places like mid, or on this map, dish on arcade, are like extremities. They're less contested areas of the map, so they're really nice to push on like eco rounds, or more like if you want to flank. So that's pretty much B. I mean, you're looking at the same thing here. You could play from heaven with like a judge, but I never do that because I think that play is garbage. If you really want to play somewhere on site, I don't know, I would really only think of playing like here and then having like a teammate arcade or something, or like being able to fall back in arcade, kind of like what we did in Sands, where you just kind of hold tower control or holding Sands control. You can do that here as well, and you can boom bot from here just to kind of maintain, keep some pressure, peek from it, whatever, while your teammates are like rotating in, and this could be a nice little trap play. And you could hold from here, and if they start coming up too fast, you can always satchel away and then focus more on this area, and then you could try to fight the arcade player. This actually works sometimes, and then you can keep arcade from your team, or you could just night tower. So this has the nice livelihood, uptime, nice uptime. You're not going to die as much with these type of plays I'm giving you, which is what I like to do. I like to make sure on Raze that I get all my utility out and I don't just die mindlessly peeking A main like a arena main would. For attack, I mainly go A main. Sometimes I go dish, sometimes I go arcade. I probably just go to all of them, to be honest. And they all kind of work the same way, where this map's pretty good at satchel, but you want to use your nade to like clear something on site. For A, I usually like boom bot this if I notice they're contesting. This will allow me to scale up through here and look towards the door. And then I can jump peek this, and now I can come out sight and like either nade close here, I can nade this here. It's kind of up to you, but this is nice because this will clear like all this space underneath, and then you can feel more comfortable if you want to satchel out. So we like throw this, and the purpose of this isn't to kill someone, right? It's to allow us to take the space, and then you can come out with it. Be mindful of the stairs player while you do that, and all that left side. I don't really have mouse space here right now, so let me do that again and show you a different way you could do it. I'm also assuming there's like a smoke here that we're trying to get rid of, but you could do something like this. You like lay in here and then fight that guy, and then you're hidden from those guys a little. That's not bad either. Kind of have fun with it, but what I usually end up doing is saving boombot A main because people don't fight it, and then I boombot like left side, and then I made right side like this, and then I just walk out the smoke. And I always look here first. I always assume this player in the corner. It's a very common spot in my head. You could also combine a satchel with that and just come out a little crazier. If you want to fight that stair guy specifically, you could do like a fist. Oops, that one wasn't very good. Really just use your satchel a lot, because it's really good for those fast peaks. If you're the person in the other team and you're not dying through walls, you will never see it coming, and it will always catch you off guard. So nice play to make. If I'm going dish, I don't really boombot. I only really go dish if I have teammates and we just fight this guy together. In the back of my mind, I always have like, if someone peeks us here like a jet and you try dashing out, I'm always getting ready to satchel through and chase him down. So that's what I would keep in mind. But really I'm trying to save my stuff for like this retake. When I come up here, I like to throw the nade off this and then like boombot right side, and then I can throw my satchel like this, and I can kind of scale through stuff like this. I don't really care where you land, like maybe top site. I like just anywhere, to be honest. I just try to satchel on somebody. It's not, my pathing's not too specific, or I like go off my nade. So like I know my nade's going under, so I would like try to wrap under too. So you could try something like that. I don't know, like have fun with it, guys. Don't listen to my playbooks like they're like gospel. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You're just trying to like avoid right side and pressure on the left side. If you want to go right side, then you can do like your boombot here, and then you can do your satchel like more to the right side. Do something like this and land on top of that, or you can go down here. I mean, you could try it. I'm not against it. I usually just go side though, to be honest. But your goal with that would just be to fight the right side player and catch him off guard. Like if you land up here, you clear this for your teammate. If they're up on rafters, they might not expect it, or they could just be holding rafters. Maybe you want to name that when you go for, make this play look around, smile. Besides that, if we're going B, B's pretty much the same lane. Is that really making sense so far? Good. I'm glad you said yes to that. For going B, I also don't boombot this. Not even if I know someone's here, because if someone's here, they're just going to peek it and dash out, or chamber out, or arena out, so there's really no purpose. I save my stuff for sight. I usually boombot here and nade here, and then you can do the same way. Now, a lot of this isn't like crazy. You can do like behind the box there and avoid the nade better than I did, or you could do like here and try to kill the player on this corner. So a lot of this you don't have to do. Like some of this stuff I wouldn't even do if my teammates are here. A lot of my entries are actually just like, I'm just throwing the nade here, and then maybe I'll snatch them like one board just to get off sight. But that's what it looks like all together. So you can kind of like pick apart and choose different pieces of a lot of this and still make it work. You never just want to like chuck everything. By the way, boombot first, nade second, satchel dirt. Really important for a lot of situations. By the way, Slayerkey.com, #buy. Few spots left in the bootcamp. Slayerkey's Guide to Immortal. I got agent mastery courses, not just for this map, but for every single agent in the game. Teo incoming. I would definitely check it out. There's also free resources if you're a dirty freeloader. And that's all on ko-fi.com/Slayerkey. Go check that out right heckin' now. It's worth your time. It's worth your money. I've coached thousands of students. Like, what are you waiting for, you idiot? Anyways, once you get on site, some of the spots I really like to play or like close dish here and towards arcade. I usually don't like going side and then going tower. If I do go tower, my goal is always to do the same thing we do on defense, which is after we clear tower to get down arcade. Because arcade, okay, again, no one leaked this, no one tell anybody, but I play this arcade angle when they're retaking and it is insane. It is actually insane. It's so unstoppable. You play this smart and you don't just peek die. Like, it's so good. These guys on site, let me show you what they're looking at on their screen. You think they're gonna look towards this tiny angle here when they got all this on their screen? What about this guy? Okay, I'm gonna isolate this angle and I'm going out here. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. So this angle's got there. You know, if you want to play a little bit safer, right, we don't hold that corner, we hold here. And it's GG, and they're all dead. And there's nothing they can do. So that's a beautiful little retake position I'll throw at you. Everything else, you know, not that big of a deal. Oh, I think that's a lot of Raze. If you want ult spots, just do any of the plays I did and combine them with an ult, and you're golden. A lot of the ults on this map, at least for me, are like situational. So when it feels like I should use the ult, I use the ult. I just give myself this space to be more adaptive to anything rather than reactive. I like playing like that on Raze. I like playing like that in general. You know, I think it's a more consistent way. Everyone talks about consistency, and that's what I like to do. Quick recap for Raze. You know, I love to play when I'm defending. I love to play a main. I love to hold my nade here and wait to throw it. And then I like to have the satchel always to get away. If not, I grab orb. And then I kind of save the boom bot. More for when I see someone running up and I want to fight them. So like when we do our wrap through door, this was kind of the idea here, is we either wrap through door and we play this door angle, or we go through spawn, or we always use this satchel here. Give me a sec while I try to find Raze. There she is. Bada beam, bada boom. And then we play from up there. Okay, now we're going to do breach. Breach is kind of the perfect combo to Raze. So I'll kind of just pretend I'm breach. So I'm stunning from my Raze A main. You want to do the quick stun here. So you look on the map. That's the quick stun. This is the long stun where you just hold it down. You really only need to stun the close guys where the nade's going to go. You don't need to go past that. Or you can just have it prepped already and just be like waiting for the Raze and then tell them when you're stunning and blah, blah, blah. You could also combine it with that nice little missile through here. And then I'll go boom boom on them. If that helps if you have like the stun or something else, or you know they're like really far pushed up. Breach's missile is the main highlight of this agent on this map. You can also like flash through the teammates through door or yourself through door on some spot like here. Where it's gonna, you see where that blinded right here, so it's gonna blind like literally everyone, and it's not gonna blind your teammate who's peeking here, which is another key part. So those are two really nice ways to just like hold, three really nice ways to hold main. You know, I've seen breaches do this ult, and I think this ult's kind of garbage. I really wouldn't suggest it. If you want to do a deal, you know, maybe you would want to go here and like cover all this space, and then you're there to play off of it a bit quicker. And like, if you're in that spot, I think your teammates are going to be there with you. But like, I don't really like ulting a main like that. You know, I'm not one of those type of guys. I'm more of a stick it in them type of guy. Don't get that confused. And if I'm holding dish, it's kind of the same thing. where I don't really want to stick it at, where I want to stick it in them, but I can't really because it's kind of hard to in this position. So you can stun here and wait for them to walk up and play this angle. But really at the end of the day, I just wouldn't play here. I'm gonna be honest, I wouldn't play here. Like, I'm just gonna give it to you straight. I would just play these stuns here and stun this when they come out and stun this if they come here. And a lot of breaches like this spot, I kind of like it too. If you get closer here, you can stun even more, like the entire walkout, which is kind of nice for like your B main players. And a good breach would be able to do that. Okay, a bad breach would be over here, stunning like the two people here and like fighting them solo and not realizing he's a very strong support agent in these early rounds. Yeah, you can flash. I'm trying to like give you something because I'm a good guy, you know, I'm a good guy. But really, like, don't play there. If you play there and I coach you, like, I'm just ending our session right away. There's some more stuff to breach for like retaking that's really good. So you can do like a high flash off this. And that blinds a lot of this stuff here. You could also just blind the box, but like it doesn't really blind that as well. But you can blind like here, you can blind like here. Really, I want to show you this missile. So this missile is really good if you do it just right. It'll cover below and above sight. Let me see if I can get hit by this real quick. There you go. I got hit by that a little. I'm also invuln, but you know what I mean. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean. So you can make a hit above and below, and that's kind of what you want. It's really good for stopping the plant on both these sides. So I just did a little fadeaway on that because swag. You use these missiles to delay post plant or to delay the plant for the rotators to come in, maybe get a kill, force them out in the open, especially if you're right here. It's a free kill. Or you can hold them here instead. Most smart players would go there. Or any of your teammate like out here, and you know they're stuck there, you know they're stuck there. Like the missile's basically a free, you know, run into my crosshair or die type vibe. So only use that missile. Don't use your flashes. Just hold them after you use it. You know the deal. You know the deal. Retake ult is actually pretty good here too. You can do it more like this, where it kind of gets the dish player. This is okay. This is okay. Here is just as good. Like I would maybe think about this, like ulting here and then doing that flash. You know what I'm saying? And going through, or maybe just open door and do it there. But the idea is like the A main players, if they're not hit by this, they're gonna be hit by this, and then you can push them in. And that's pretty nice. So that's the idea. Let me show you B, what the missile would look like, and then we'll actually start B. I mean, you already know what the missile is gonna look like. Why don't we have a cool? It's cheats mode. Hello. Anyways, you throw the missile, like both the defaults. You can also throw a tower, by the way. I thought I was trolling when I said that, but you actually can. So you could force him like more into the open here. Let's Bill 9 the science guy real quick. Rest in peace. Yeah, you force him into the open with this. So that's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. You force him like here. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind. You kind of push him out that way. It'd also be good if you wanted to like go tower, for example. Like, you know what I mean? You throw this, and you can throw like this, and then this close guy's blind, and then you can keep this guy, or you can be that cringe breach who just like flashes every corner after he missiles everybody and then stuns them. That would work too. Yeah, you get the idea behind the missiles here. Sometimes people hide in that corner, you could throw it there. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to tell you everything. This flash here is good. It blinds me. It blinds everyone else on site. It comes out like right here. Good to know that. Sometimes just like if you don't know where to throw flashes, honestly, just like throw them where you don't get blinded. And then if your teammates complain about it, you know, just mute them because they're stupid anyways. They don't know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? So let's focus up here and just flash whatever. I would just try to flashes high, go off that. If I'm going here, I'm stunning left side or I'm missing left side. Combining the stun with like the missile is really nice. So for example, I would probably missile this, I'm not gonna lie. So I would stun like, or I'd missile this and then stun the right side like this. Combining them is really nice. Like if you combine the stun while your teammate's like coming up here, or while you're coming up here and you just want to do a quick stun on them real quick, like that's very nice. So knowing like these two are the main areas you're looking for, and then tower can like go screw itself, is really helpful for this retake. It's really helpful even towards A, that there's like this spot and this spot, and then there's like drop in A main, and that's literally it. Like there's literally nothing else. It's really easy to know where it's going to be. Right? I'm throwing in one of the spots, I'm throwing the other one in the other spot. Like I'm careful of tower and I'm good. Like these guys, they're dead. Okay, they gotta be tower. 9 times out of 10, this will work out. Okay. So for attack, things are gonna look a little different, but if we're attacking A, it's like I don't need to tell you just stun A main, right? Like we're at this point in the game. I guess some of you haven't even played this map yet. So yeah, this stun A main is super common. The counter stun from this breach playing heaven against that stun is very common. So you do a stun, make sure it goes more left side than right side. Like somewhere nice in between, like that. You kind of want to like force him away from the angle. So that's always nice to keep in mind. Some breaches go from this angle. It's got better coverage this way. You see how it covered like here to here. A lot of breaches flash out door. I don't think flashing out door is that great unless you know people are here. It's like, it's mediocre. People don't really play door. If they are, they're like close here. So have fun with that. My main thing for you is I would go sight with my team. I already used my stun 9 out of 10 times. So again, missile here, cover it up and down. And then you can flash out like right side here. Blind that guy. It covers more than just blinding left side here. Because maybe that guy doesn't get blinded. I don't know. But that's kind of the idea. By the way, if you didn't know, you can see on the map where the flash is going to end up. So if I look here, you can see it's going here. If I throw it here, you look, see I'm just flashing myself. But yeah, flash out right, off that missile, kill that stairs guy. Basically the same thing as Raze, right? Okay, if you're on site, it's basically just like chuck the flash forever. Like, it's not like something special. I would usually just, oh, that's a bad flash. Don't chuck that one. If you want to ult sight on this, you can. You could also ult. I've seen some people who like to ult like sands, but I would usually just ult sight and just get this out of the way. And then you would flash like left side here. And then you can kill the people who are on site, and then if they're left side, they would be blinded, they would be unblinded, and then by the, like while you're here, they'd be unblinded, and then you can fight them again. So yeah, you get side control, nice looking, pretty good. If you're dish, dish is actually pretty nice as breach. You know, you wouldn't always go main, but like look at this stun. Like, and make sure you come out a little so they can't just peek off this stun and kill your teammate and then dash away. Speaking from no experience, and you always want to flash this because like this part doesn't get stunned. So you kind of want to like have some sort of counter to this. This corner is good enough. And then you can like go off that. And then you still have missiles, so you could like missile under. So if you guys want to missile sight, you jump and chuck. And that'll missile sight if you want to do that. Otherwise, you just do under like this. Also really good for post plant, by the way. That little missile there. Stats A for you. How we doing so far? Everyone's still locked in? We learning? Yes. We feeling good? Yes. We buying the Ko-Fi for as cheap as $5 a month or downloading the free resource wiki? No. What is wrong with you? Anyways, let's go B main. You can stun this. People stun this, but really it's so troll. You can't really like stop the peak here. Set out like this one, okay? You stun tower for your arcade folks, which is really nice, and you stun sight, or you can stun left side and also tower. So this is like arcade people behind the dinghy, and it's like left side people and above the dinghy. Okay. You can also missile this instead, or you can missile this. So whichever one you don't stun, let's say I'm stunning left, I'm missiling right. You guys see how like there's basically 2 spots on the site, and that's all we're worried about. And then you can like flash right here, or you can flash like out here, and then you're outside. Okay, you notice how like instinctively, by the way, when I use a lot of this util, I don't even look towards it. Like I just chuck it, and then I go out with it. Because you just have to be able to, like you have to trust your util this much, that when I stun left side, there are no players left side. I would probably missile this first. When I missile this, and chuck this, like there's just no players here. Like this is just clear. I just run out with this. There's nothing to be afraid of. They're hit by util or they're not. You know what I mean? There's a 50-50 chance, and that's pretty good odds for valorant. You know what I mean? Another thing you can do for B is ult from under. I'm sure everyone who's played this map knows about this, but you can ult all this site this way, and it's pretty dang simple. Just make sure you cover like site, right? This corner, that top tower. You notice how there's only like 4 spots we really care about when we take this site? You see how like simpler it becomes when you focus on those spots instead of the 50 other spots that people think exist on maps. And then afterwards we can just go, you know, towards arcade, and then we can just flash out this. And then if anyone's here, you know, I'm blinded, they're blinded, and life's great. You can check a flash up here and go up. And if anyone's like hiding arcade after the stun or tower, and you kill them. Like come on. Like, come on. Anyways. If you want to go arcade, you can throw this stun right here. This stun is really nice. It covers the early peak. It covers a lot of this tension, pressure, kind of like my bladder about 5 minutes ago. So you chuck that and it'll stun all those close people. You can come here. I would actually think about missiling this sometimes, especially if you expect players here. A lot of players hide behind this box. It's really hard to clear, like me. I like hiding behind this box. Hi, nice to meet you. So I just chucked the missile there. Once I realized they might like to play there, or they're not really fighting arcade. Otherwise, you can chuck it like up tower here. And let me show you what that looks like. That'll cover this whole area here. So then you can kind of scale up a little bit easier. I've also seen some breaches, instead of stunning this close, You know, they just flash this angle, get that player off, and then they have this stun ready for the teammates going up tower. And that's a bit nicer too. So whichever one you feel like doing. If you want to go through site, don't flash this. This will flash your B main players. If you're alone here, feel free to flash this. But I see the 2 flash combo from breaches a lot. They do that first flash, and then they come through. Sometimes they use second flash here, but really they second flash like here if you think there's a site player, and it's really, really good. Okay, that's about it. Like, I wouldn't do too much here on this side, because you really can't do too much. It's basically just you have the stun, and you have like 1 flash. And if you want to use a missile here, it's good. I would not check that flash, by the way. You would want to check that flash from right here. Remember, you have to go off your util. Someone has to go off your util. Okay, either you or your teammates. And breach is a beautiful lesson to learn that with. I feel like ults are kind of self-explanatory. You know, either you ult site or you don't use the ult. That's basically it. There's still like the post-plant spots that are available. Like, we could just reuse this missile here and, you know, hit that default. You know, if it's planted under here, you can do this one here. I'm actually just making this up, but I really want to say that this works. It works. So I just want to say I'm a genius, and I just made that up. And if you use it, please credit me and tag me and kiss me. So yeah, I wanted to do a recap of breach real quick. So a lot of this, his main priority is A main. He's going to stun from right here. In this corner, is going to cover this, and then he's going to missile the up, down, in sight. There's a few different spots he can just send his flash, whatever. You know, you can send him through door, you can send him through a right side, and that's pretty much like the best you're going to do. Like, there's really nothing more special. If you're going dish, it's basically the same thing. You just chuck this stun through here. And that's basically all a breach on like attack if you're attacking A. And if you want to see the full playbook for like all these agents, subscribe to the Ko-Fi. Another day, and I'm back, and this time we're on Deadlock, baby. I'm gonna start a main again for Deadlock. When you're defending this space, we talked about this early nade. I would treat it literally the same as the Raze nade, especially if you're combining util. You'd want to throw this first, and then you throw the nade. And if you're playing from door, one nice thing you can do is put the knee through the door and block off all this area. Okay, well, maybe not like how I did. One nice thing you can do is if you're playing through door, you can just like chuck this right here and insta block it off every single round. But I'm not a big fan of that. Personally, I want to kind of like lure them into me. What I would do instead is, for example, throw this off so they see this when they open the door and they're just like, nah, I'm good. And then what you do is you have your setup towards site. Another place you could put the wall instead of putting a door, you could put it towards dish. Again, I wouldn't really suggest chucking this thing deep a lot of the times. You can chuck it deep like this, but it's a little harder to keep track of. For example, they could just like break it here, and if you're playing from site, you're really not going to notice, and even on the minimap, it can be kind of hard to see. So I would suggest just putting them at the bottom of this so they can't even peek. Something like that. So a lot of different setups. A lot of them are pretty much just like cypher trips if you play cypher this map. But this diagonal is really good. It's going to cover all the lockouts and be really hard to break. Another good one is you can throw one here. It's a little harder to break. You can throw it literally any level of the stair. It really doesn't matter. And it's also really good. So literally anywhere in this area. You could also chuck it right here, and it's pretty good. But I would probably do these two. And that would stop them from coming here. And if they start coming site, they would be screwed. Then I would play from somewhere like top site or bottom site. So either of these spots, just hiding behind these pillars, waiting for them to walk up. I like this one. Oh, hold on. I like this one because you can right click the nade over it like that, except a little bit harder. Gotta use some of your muscles here. Oh, just like that. Okay, perfect. And so after you kill them, you can basically check this off, and then if you're playing under, you can kind of do the same thing. So you just want them to come out, you want to get one, and then you want to nade to cancel out the trade and also potentially get another. Now, what I've also seen a lot of Deadlocks have a lot of success with is playing from tower like this. Maybe having one of these right next to him here in case someone tries to come out to like retrade their teammate. But they chuck the nade off their teammate in main, and they go off that. So they're listening for noise, or they're looking for their A main player to do some magic, and then they chuck this, or they chuck this. Like literally either of them work, and if someone's going to try to come out or help their ulti buddy, then you continue your onslaught. So it's a really nice combo just to wait to happen. If you're playing from dish, there's not really a lot here. One thing I could say is you could net this after the start of the round, And if you do get people, you could 100% just hold this and get those people that are netted. If there's teammates here, they're gonna have to spray them or peek into you here, and that could be a really nice start to the round. I would maybe bring one teammate with you just to make sure this play works really well. But we wouldn't do something like that for B, for example. We wouldn't go down here and just chuck his ult because they have to go through all this open space when they're in the little spider womb thing. So it's really easy just to counter. Now, if you're rotating from A to B, I would literally just think of this like Raze basically, because all these nades are really good. They just like land on sight, and look how much that literally covered this. Wow, that was a beautiful nade. I would top it out. Okay, chuck it at the fat part in the tree. There you go. That's the perfect one. So the fattest part of the tree, at the very top, there's a left click. So you're rotating in. Okay, nothing's here. There's a spoke here. I pray to God. Chuck it at the fat part, and then bada bing, bada boom. Now, if you're defending B, the two trips I would think about is on this close box here, or on the stairs, probably like the right side-ish, like here. This is just because these are harder to break. But these two trips are really good because when they're coming up, they're not really going to look here. You want to think about where their crosshair can be placed. So when people are coming sight, they're not really looking towards this right side of stairs or here. They're probably looking towards this box, towards here. So they're kind of like not really looking towards where these would be, and it makes it really good just when we accidentally make a footstep or have to fight someone, they get stunned by. And then two nice spots you would play this from is probably like here. I wouldn't suggest here because sometimes the smoke's not going to be down, it's going to screw you. And you could also play from like here. Right here would be good, but if the smoke, it could also screw you. So I usually would play from here. This is my favorite spot. Now, if you want to play arcade instead, one nice thing you can do as Deadlock, kind of like we did over here, we walled this off, is just chuck a deep wall. This stops them from peeking main and allows you to prioritize the other half of the site basically. This is a big fracture thing because there's 4 spots enemies can come from, 2 for each site. So by doing this, you only have to worry about the 1 spot. And then you could prioritize some util here. Pre-round, you can really only do like here and here, and both those aren't really great. I personally like the more down strips. Like I would think about this same angle again and then like combine with one of these here. Another thing you could do is play more back and have a trip for the rope like this, and then have a trip for the walk up like this. It's really nice to put these ones kind of on the edge of stuff. People won't notice them and then they'll walk into them and then they'll get hit by them. Or we could flip it around and instead just wall off this area. This is honestly ideal, where you wall off arcade, they can still peek from there, but then you can prioritize your stuff towards sight a lot easier. With this one, what I would really do instead of these close ones here is I would try to do some like cheeky on sight ones, probably something like this, and then something like on this corner here, or on the corner of this box here, just something to get them as they come up. You can also place it on the side of this railing here. So either those 2 right ones are pretty damn good, and then I would just put it like from tower here. You could throw a nade from here, but really you're waiting for your util to pop. You're gonna have the arcade wall still up. Your main timing for the nade is gonna be like this walk-up spot here. You're gonna want to get it here. You can do this from a number of spots, either behind the box like this. You can just right click it over. Now for attack, this is going to be a little controversial, but really I just don't put the trips down. I'm not going to lie. This might just be like my experience, but if I see a Deadlock and they're the only flank holder, I'm going to shift walk, or I'm going to find out where your util is and make sure I shift walk past it. So in my head, it's just not worth it to do. I usually like to save it for on site or one of the lanes for retake. Let me show you what that looks like. You can throw a nade here for a main, basically like breaches stun. This is more so if he doesn't do one. You don't want to do both these at the same time. There's really no point. But that nade at the start is going to help a lot. Sometimes I've had this happen and it really sucks when no one uses any util on this A main player, and as a duelist you just can't go. Like if you don't have the util to clear this, you just can't go. It's important someone gets rid of this player. But if we don't use it for that player, we're going to use it for sight anyways. It's really similar. This like Deadlocks in this map's basically a combination of breach and Raze. So if where I throw my nade on Raze is basically where I throw my nade here. So if I throw it under sight here, it's going to get all that space, and that's what I want. You could also just chuck it here. This thing goes through there, so who really cares? Okay, and that's that's kind of about it. Like, if you want to go outside here, you can't. Remember, this isn't really your job. Like, you're the sentinel, so your goal is to let your teammates secure site, and then you set up for a really strong post plant. That's a lot of deadlock. And maybe you have your ult, you can chuck at site. When you spot someone, don't just randomly chuck it. Remember how quick it is to pop. Like, if we scan someone bottom site, we get pop it like this. It takes less than a second just to get this guy. So do not try to pre-pop this. You have so much time, even with the timer. You see how long this is last. I could be yapping and yapping, and my teammates could all be dead, and I'll be like, okay, fine, I'll do something. Boom. See how long that lasts? So don't rush this ult, really don't. Now if you're coming from this side, you can do this early one, but if they don't really fight it, I would honestly just save it. I wouldn't bind yourself with it, especially if you're here for a teammate. I would just take this area and save the nade from sight. The nade for sight is always going to be more beneficial. And then we'll go towards sight. The two good ones you can throw from sight is it's literally the same as the Raze nade, like every time. You either chuck it from here, or if you want and you know someone's towards here, you could do like a jump throw from here and have it land towards tower. The nice benefit of this is if you do it right, you're not really overexposing yourself, but you still get that angle covered. Okay, and it's pretty much the same thing. When you come out here though, one nice thing you can do is just be able to chuck your dingy from here, have it go into CT, and then you can come out. So if you're coming out with the nade, remember you throw the nade and then you come out with it. So that nade's gonna hit backside, and then you can clear the rest of it and then find that player backside. But anyways, once you get sight, I'm just gonna assume your duelist, aka me, did an amazing job at clearing because they watched both this guide and the angle guide. So everything's clear. You're preparing for retake. And what I really like to do, if you think they're gonna come dish, you could throw this one, but I really like throwing these ones that are just right outside these like drop points basically, where they're gonna have to enter into sight. So when they're retaking, they're gonna have to deal with this, and then I would always throw this one CT. That one CT is really nice. You could throw it from here more safely. Your goal is to get this here, 2 little trips under, and you're basically golden. If you want to play further back, that's also an option. You could chuck one here. This is really nice too. If you want to play like a deeper retake, this is more like, it's for those more tight situations where you have less teammates, less variables, and you're starting to play more patient. Don't just chuck this one, because 9 times out of 10 your teammates fight these ones. But I'm throwing it out there just so you know. And then another not bad one is like on this drop area here, not just for drop, but this is also for when they walk out. When they walk out, this will also trigger it here, and then you could peek them. So this is nice basically for this angle. You could play at this angle too. The main thing I'm always careful of is, am I peeking into space that won't be covered by the stun? So for example, if I wanted to peek these 2 trips from here, all this left side space isn't going to be covered by the stun. So I'd always peek right side. Now when it comes to attacking beat, I would not bother to throw this nade. There's really no point. They're either going to dash out or they're going to wait to peek. And if they do get hit by it, they're probably silver. So if you're in silver, feel free to use that nade. But really, it's better just to fight this with your team. But I would suggest throwing this one here. This one's gonna be your best one. It's gonna get all of that back corner. You could also get like this close left if you just chuck it there. Remember that this thing goes through walls. So even get that guy. So if you want to do that one, just chuck it at the point next to it. Bada boom, bada boom. And then where you chuck your wall here is either here. The majority of the time you see like a big chuck, and it lands towards CT like this. This one's really nice because sometimes some guy gets stuck in this corner like this, and so they're just screwed here. But once you get sight, you're gonna have two dinies left. Again, I would put them at the little exits where enemies are gonna come from. This one I would think about putting a little bit further out, because usually the smokes here are a lot deeper. So I would think about this one and this one. Basically 2 ones where they're gonna have to be committed. They're gonna have to be in this space. If you want them even deeper, you could do here. Remember we talked about with deeper trips. It's really obvious, or it's really important that your teammates fight deeper, that you can clearly tell your teammates are going to fight deeper and they're not pushing to CT like Arena would. So basically our defense setup we could put here, or you can have ones where you play here, and like we talked about with Raze, you play from here with these trips. Instead, it's absolutely dead. I'm not really the type of person to tell you to play for lineups. I'm not the type of person to tell you to play passive. The majority of the times I know how solo queue lobbies go, people just fight, and so you want to be there in a position where you can always fight with the fight. So I would never suggest like hiding back tower and playing your nade here instantly. It's not even that great of a play. I see a lot of low elo players make this mistake. You want to be up here with the fight, and then your last resort should be to go here. So one really nice thing you could do if you really wanted to, or is to be to take this fight here,
and let's say one gets through on site and you want to go back to site, now you can go here. Now you have your nade or whatever you have planned for this, and you just wait here, and then you can do it, or you can do your nade, and then you don't have to be out of position this entire time. Important thing is you're fighting with the fights. Alright, so let's recap. Basically our goal here is to either nade at the start or have this walled off at the start. Okay, we either want to fight this space or don't deal with this space. Choose one or the other. And then your onside trips are usually going to be something that's just hard to break. So we usually have one on the stairs here, something like this, and then we usually have one for the other half, so something like this. And this is both really nice. If you notice you like to nade it, then you can move this one further back. And 9 times out of 10, this is what we're going to do. Now for attacking it, it's basically the same thing. You want to maybe use the grab net here. Remember, just to consider what your enemies have done. I would never use this like first round of the half because there's no point. Usually you want to figure out what they want to do first. It depends how safe you really want to play. Okay, and once you get up here, you can barrier mesh this. If you don't use this here, you could just use it here. And then bada bing, bada boom. You got a grab net site, you got a wall for CT, and then you can set up for the post plant. So this is what it looks like. You chuck the wall, you chuck the net, and then you chuck that post plant stuff once you get on site. And these sensors are pretty dang nice to do that. So we just chuck these sensors out here. The other alternative is you can put them like more close at the entrances, so you get them on their retake. And this is what you can kind of do. One for the deeper come out, and then one just for that entrance. People love to come out of there. Now I'm not gonna lie, Brim should not take a long time whatsoever. Alright, Brim is a very straightforward agent. There's only a few little things you need to know, and that's it. So the nice thing about Brim that we can't forget on this map is he's really good with smokes, okay? He's really good if you want to fight a main, your teammates aren't fighting a main, you could just sit in the smoke here. You just pop a smoke here, and then rock a shorty, rock a judge, even just a phantom is good enough, and just sit here in the smoke and wait for him to come through, alright? A ratty Brim is always a good Brim. If he just waits here, and then he gets one, and then he leaves and he mollies, it's literally such a nice start. If you want to fight a main with your team, I wouldn't really suggest like doing the molly at the start. I just see people waiting this out and then peeking after, not really like being scared of it. What I would instead do is contest a main like this by smoking close, and then you and this door player can hold this. And this is a really nice way to hold this space, create pressure. And even when they do come out, I'd probably put you on the door player, just so you can do a quick little molly like this. And usually the duelist are main anyways, and then you can do that. We wouldn't really play dish as Brim, we wouldn't really do anything like that, but like we talked about the ratty thing, you could like smoke this off and be playing on the edge of the smoke, or just be hiding in the smoke. And then when you kill these dish players, you're gonna have dish control, so they're gonna have to worry about 3 lanes when they take over site. Okay, one more thing I want to throw out there that most Brims, controllers in general that I teach do not know about is just doing close smokes on site. So if you're playing site as Brim and they're just coming out like crazy, just do a close smoke like this. Especially this last one that allows you to get up here. It gives you a lot more room to maneuver and isolate angles, and it is literally a god. Like, this is something I only teach my students because it's so good. It's insanely good. I always have them start using close smokes, and we always get amazing results. So don't be afraid to throw some close smokes on Brim. If you're retaking here, it's literally the same thing as the Raze nade, except you kind of got to be more precise. Yeah, you can learn lineups for this stuff, but the molly is so big now that it basically covers all the space, no problem. You just chuck it over. You want it over here, you chuck it over, and that's going to force him out of the open, or they burn alive. So have fun with that. And obviously the ult site is god tier here. Make sure you guys so it covers both the left and right side, and this will force them all to run right here. You want to be aware of where they're going to try to path to majority of the time. So when you drop this, you know you're not just hiding behind here. You want to take this angle on and try to get him over shot, or you want to take a deeper angle and be ready for it. Okay, and now we're stimming on rotates. Always use the stim on rotates. There's literally no other reason to use it. If you want to retake here and just retake fast, especially with the stim, you could just close smoke here and then jump up site really fast like this. You're exposed to this player for like half a second, but really like these close smokes, I'm telling you, are just broken and no one uses them, and you're stupid if you don't. I'm just being real. You're stupid. You're missing out. But the very fast retake is good. It's the same kind of mollies you use here, where you want to just kind of clear something with these. So again, behind the dini, or this close spot, both are good. I'm not really pressing you for either. Just something to flush them out in the open. Okay, if you want to go from arcade, these are like the typical retake smokes you see. The smoke towards main. Sometimes you can smoke towards arcade or tower. Notice the or there. So don't just smoke all three, just so you can like path the site easier and not worry about as much stuff. Especially if you're me and you like to play that angle beyond the smoke. I hate this pin update, by the way. This thing's garbage. But yeah, you can just go towards site here a bit easier and isolate the angles a bit easier. The last thing I want to throw on defense, the second thing I tell all my people, is always smoke the bomb. If the bomb's planted, always smoke the bomb. Don't smoke tower, don't smoke main, don't smoke arcade, smoke the bomb. It is a world of difference. You're threatening the win condition instead of just blocking them off from an angle. If you can make all the changes I just said, you're better than any Ascendant and Immortal in my lobbies. Like, this stuff is so crazy simple, I can't believe no one does it. Anyways, if you're playing B, it's pretty much the same thing. You can do this close smoke here. Sometimes if you're feeling cheeky, like, you do this little close smoke here, and now you can play inside of it. Obviously, mind the gap. Okay, get the smoke right. But you can go here, you can play close up here, they're gonna want to grab the orb, something stupid like that, and you're just gonna blob them in the face. That one's a little risky, especially if they're spamming through it, so you kind of gotta read the room with that one. This is the more default one here. I'm sure you know, you hear him coming, right? You hear him coming, you hear him come, and then you pop the little fire thing inside of it when they're starting to execute sight. What does that mean? It means they're dropping smokes. It means the Reyna is trying to flash out, and that's when you pop the molly. Okay, kill that Reyna. Very common too is this arcade one. You just play inside this smoke, you play outside of it, you play one of these cheeky angles. You really don't risk your life here, and you can test arcade. You give yourself a space. You hear him coming up, you can honestly just swing through these smokes sometimes and get one, maybe two. If the game's not feeling that great, I would throw that option out there. Okay, we talked about on-site smokes. Let me keep burning your brain with this concept because you need it. You throw this one, look, this actually blocks their entire walk-up. Some silver player is gonna think they can run into the smoke and safe plant late, even though there's no Brim on their team or smoker, and you can just block them in the face. Okay, it's also really good if you want to just play the corners like this. It's really good if you want to, like, literally, like, I'm not gonna lie, you play anywhere and it's good. You play anywhere and it's good. You could also do another one in tower. Then you could like hide in this one here. Like, honestly, it'd just be a rat on Brim. Alright guys, so I stole someone's lineup and I made it a little bit simpler for you to understand. So you go in between these two boxes, you crouch, you whip out the molly, and you use this thingy. So you just aim the line here at the corner of that. You can aim a lot of these lines, but this one's the best. The line between the stem and the molly. And that's gonna land beautifully right there. That's gonna cover all the default plan spots. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, I had to show some lineup because I know you Brims are itching for it. All you Brims cringing about lineups, I got you. Just shoot it at this thing. Like, do you really need to get more specific than that? No. No. Just bounce it off this. Okay, if you're attacking his Brim, basically let your duelist go first. That is 90% of roles. Sit here with smokes like a good boy and throw these smokes when your teammates are going outside. If they're dropped, don't throw that last one. I repeat, if they're dropped, don't throw that last one. You could also sometimes just get away with only throwing these two. Sometimes. Sometimes you don't even have to throw this one if you don't go door. If you know your teammates don't go door, you can sometimes just throw this one. If your teammates are dropped, sometimes you can just throw this one. Actually, your teammates are dropped, you want to throw both. Yo, kiepa. This is just because sometimes if we don't open door, we don't really need the door smoke, you know what I mean? So yeah, your goal is to throw these smokes and then throw a stim for your team, and that's literally it. Like, you just completed this round. You did everything you could. The next thing you could do is like a close smoke like this to try to get your team on site a little bit easier. Things aren't going well. Throw smoke just to get yourself on site. Things aren't going well. Again, the close smokes are your savior. Besides that, you usually just save the last smoke that we tend to have for CT, and that's about it. Or you could save it for like a close smoke, again if you're playing some like crossfire with a teammate. And then your molly, you know, don't be a post plant anti. Don't be a post plant anti. You know, it may secure your rounds, but it won't secure your ranks, you know what I mean? Instead, do like just do a CT molly when they're starting to come out. Maybe they have an ult they're trying to cancel out. The molly's really good for that. Maybe they're gonna drone out, maybe they're gonna dog out. So just save your molly for that and throw it there. Okay, and if things aren't going bad, then you can just run back and play your molly. Okay. And you don't really need lineups for this. It might feel like you do, but you really don't. A lot of attackers just do your smokes as best you can. Brim doesn't really go here because usually there's less people towards dish. So you don't want to be stuck in your smokes menu while all this stuff is happening. So it usually goes main. And if you go here, it's not really the same thing, but basically the same thing. Like, throw your smokes, throw your stim, and go site. GG. If You have your ult sight. GG. This is like literally all of it. It brings a very straightforward agent, and it's more about how you play around your teammates and those smokes. If you're attacking B, it's the same thing, smile. Let me show you what the smokes look like. I like this one because it'll block off this close box that's here. Sometimes people hold arcade from here, and that can be really bad for your arcade players. So you do this one, it's a little bit easier to block off that angle and not worry about. So I like that one, and then I do the CT one. Again, make sure to clear flush if you don't, and it'll cover that line right there. And then you can do the same thing we do with the deadlock thingy. You just chuck your molly there if you really want to. And that's basically it. Sometimes you can throw one because a lot of people like to come through this CT smoke. So you just chuck the molly right there, and that'll block their rotators from coming in and helping them keep it on site. This is especially useful if you kill someone early here because they're going to be rotating very early on while you still got to make space. So throw your smokes, throw your stim, and then use your molly, and that's basically it. Alright, don't overcomplicate this, man. It's actually quite simple. Alright, and if you're going to arcade, it's basically the same thing, so don't even worry about this mess. You just chuck this here, chuck this here, chuck this stim, and that's basically it. You know, you don't gotta worry about your molly. You don't gotta worry about your molly here. I mean, you could chuck it off there and watch it bounce, beep beep, and that'll basically do the same job. But you don't really have to. You don't really have to. If you want to ult on site here, you technically could, but it doesn't cover a lot of space, so I wouldn't worry about that. And then I would ult tower, see if there's a tower player. If you can basically run into the ult, and then push a little, and run through a little, and take a little bit of damage, but you make it there in time. Maybe you can wait a little bit longer here, but that's the idea. If you're like solo lurking here, I'm gonna give you something that's gonna be really hard to explain with an accent, so I'm just gonna slowly transition back to normal. If you're like lurking here, you can actually throw like a lurk smoke here and basically sneak into CT this way. Maybe fight the CT player that might be here, but you deny the on-site angles from here and here to see you as much, so you can kind of sneak into CT, and it's a really nice idea for a lurk. I've done this on Viper, where I've instead thrown like a wall like this and then just walked into CT for free. And if you can get to this area without them knowing, it's very, very strong. It's everyone's knife out here. I'm just saying, everyone's knife out here. So that's free kills. I mean, just throw the default smokes, throw a molly on default, and just stim your teammates. But that's gonna be it for this guide. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you want to see this one on another map, let me know. If you want to see this on different agents, let me know. Hope you enjoyed. Whatever the heck. I've been here for like 2 hours, so I'm ready to